Oh, and there they are, the stars of Karate Kid. We all knew if we grew up in the 80s, you know this movie. My name is Chris Jacobs, and I am pleased to be your host for the USO MVP series. And my panelists today are from the spinoff show of Karate Kid, Cobra Kai. It's a runaway hit. You guys have probably all seen it. I know a lot of fans are joining us. And so are my guests for today. First of all, the executive producers of the show. We've got Josh Heald, John Hurwitz, and Hayden Schlossberg, as well as the stars of the show, Ralph Macchio and William Zabka. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here on the USO MVP series. Welcoming back the four of you and welcoming for the first time William Zabka. And I want to start with Ralph and William. Guys, why is it important for you guys to participate in the USO and entertaining our troops?
Well, I mean, the USO, the amazing work that the USO has done for ever since I can remember is just something that that I've always wanted to be a part of since I, seen Bob Hope visit the troops as a kid on television, So having an opportunity, having a show like this that is now reaching people, and it gives us a chance to give back and gain. I actually gain more than anything. It's rewarding. It's a chance to say thank you. It's a chance to send our love to the troops, to their families, and just thank them for all they're doing for us and our freedom.
Amen to that. I agree 100% with all those sentiments, Ralph. My father happened to be, and some of his brothers served in World War II. And I have many cousins who were all service in Vietnam. And even now I have a nephew-in-law who's a captain, Captain Frankie Lentulu, who's actually stationed at Fort Benning right now in Georgia. He was just at Fort Riley. So I have a deep connection to the military and a reverence for that. And the USO has always been something that I've looked up to and admired. And I've watched, the Robin Williams and the Bob Hopes of the world, and just the idea and the thought of, talented people and sharing their gifts with the people that are keeping us safe. You guys are the rock stars and the warriors out there. I mean, it's the least we can do to bring you us and to make you feel close to home. And that's what the USO is about. So I didn't even think twice when they said, would you do this? It's an absolute honor. So thank you.
Well, we really appreciate you guys joining us. And I want to remind everybody who is watching that you can ask any of these guys a question. Just use your Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen there. Type in a question. Let us know who you are, where you are. We'll try to get to as many of those as possible. And I'll start out, guys. I mean, Karate Kid, I grew up on that. I was growing up during the 80s, so influential movie for me. While you guys were shooting the movie, did you think at any point we've got some sort of cultural iconic movie here, or, was it just another gig for you guys? Did you think that 30 plus years later, you'd be working together again on this spinoff show?
You can take that one, William.
I knew it all along. From the first frame of filming the movie, I said, this thing's going to live for 30 years. We'll be back doing this later in our 50s. No, who could have seen it coming? The magic of the Karate Kid is you could never, it's like lightning in a bottle. We've somehow captured it again. The energy of the Karate Kid is just sustained over all this time and somehow continue to march on in culture. And, it's amazing to think, it's hard to believe 3 decades plus have gone by since that kind of big bang of the Karate Kid universe, and it's still expanding. Could never have seen it coming. I was just thrilled to be in a headband, learn some karate, and take a crane kick to the face at the end of the thing.
Yeah, you don't. When we're making the film, there certainly were times where you just felt, the stuff was really cooking, it was really working. That has nothing to do whether it will ever sustain beyond its initial release. The fact that it caught such fire and became such an embrace by the world, and then through pop culture and so on, and now bringing us to this point is, you want to say. I mean, we used to ask John Avildsen, who directed the film, was asked that question many times, and he was like, I don't know, how the hell did I know? And he had made Rocky and Save the Tiger and some other great films. You just don't know what will resonate. Films are defined based on time, not necessarily over time is what I'm saying. And this one has just been, Billy always says it's been kissed in some way. And that's, I believe that. And so there's some shining light, and it's still shining with Cobra Kai and beyond. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's really amazing that even before Cobra Kai kind of reinvigorated the movie, if you just said wax on, wax off, or sweep the leg, or no mercy, people automatically knew what you were talking about, because it has become that locked into our cultural lexicon. Guys, want to go to our first live location right now. We are going to our USO office in Indiana at Camp Atterbury. So if you guys would please start your video and join us. And I know that a few of you have some questions for the guys. Welcome.
Hi. Welcome to USO Camp Atterbury here in Indiana, and we are so excited to have you guys. One sec.
We'll let you guys work out that problem. And I know we have a few questions there in Indiana, so if anybody is ready, step on up and ask away for the guys.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I am actually originally from Dallas and moved to Indiana. I'm a second-class petty officer in the United States Navy, and just extremely thrilled to be here. So we have a question for our two leading actors, gentlemen. So what was it like when you set back foot together on the stage, or actually on set, for reuniting once together after you guys hadn't seen each other for so many years?
It was pretty special. I mean, Billy and I talk about this all the time. Our first scene together in Cobra Kai was in the second episode when Daniel visits Johnny's newly resurrected Cobra Kai dojo, questioning that he heard he beat up a couple of kids last night. And we are essentially standing in the same parts of the mat that we were 34 years prior. And it was our first time acting together in a very, very long time. And it was a sort of instantaneous chemistry we had. We've lived, these decades, and time has gone on, but it was sort of like I just remember we had a silent conversation, him and I, after the first rehearsal, just looking in each other's eyes. And I just think we, spoke volumes that, wow, I think we have something here. The three writers of the show knew it all along, but we had to step on the mat first. Go ahead, Billy.
That's for sure. Watching the producers, John, Josh, and Hayden, in our rehearsals, especially with some of the stuff, the quiets and some of the other stuff, but just their reactions to what we were doing was like just their giddiness and their joy and their loving it really fed us to know that we could trust it, because it was a little bit nervous. I think we were both not nervous, but a little skeptical, like, how's this this has to work. If this doesn't work, it's going to be a big blow up, so it kind of had to work. But Ralph and I, we remained friends over the years, and we'd seen each other a lot over especially the years leading up to that. We did How I Met Your Mother. We did a lot of Comic-Cons together, and we were very closely in touch. And then when the guys called us individually to join the show, we called in the phone and said, hey, it sounds like something really going to happen. And then that first scene, though, in the dojo, I think was the first time that was really cool for both of us. I think was the first time that Johnny and Daniel stared at each other again. And
right.
that didn't happen so much in the rehearsals. That happened. I mean, it did, but it happened more when the cameras were on and the moment was there. And it was just kind of organic and cool. And we were finished. We're like, hey, that felt kind of cool. And that felt kind of familiar, and looked at everybody, and the guys, were just like this. And, that was the beginning of it. So it was a great feeling. It's kind of like a band getting back together, and it's like, oh, hey, we actually still work, like we're in sync, So good question. Thank you.
Sarah, thanks so much for that question. Who's up next there in Indiana?
Hi, my name is Cooper. I'm from Indianapolis, and my question is, are you more Cobra Kai or Miyagi-Do?
Let's ask the producers that question, guys.
Yeah, that's right. I want to hear that.
I'm somewhere in between. I'm wearing my Eagle Fang shirt.
They're Miyagi-Kai.
I'm trying not to pick sides.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I started as Miyagi-Do growing up watching the Karate Kid, and now making Cobra Kai, it's kind of tough not being into Cobra Kai. So I'm sort of been on both sides.
And let's not forget Eagle Fang Karate.
Oh yes.
Is it Cooper? Is that your name?
Yep, Cooper.
Cool. All right, buddy. I would say for sure, I think we're both protective of it. I would say I'm more Cobra Kai just because, that's kind of what I'm representing. Maybe Ralph's Cobra Kai too, Ralph?
On the weekends. No, I listen. We have an allegiance to our characters. Being in the skins of those characters, and not only in making the movie now, all the decades in between. Billy and I can both attest to no matter where we walk, those characters are with us in some way, shape, or form. So I always lean my allegiance towards Miyagi-Do and that great character and what I got to learn through him. But it's fun to dance on both sides of the circuit stage.
John, you're the only one who hasn't weighed in here. You're eerily
Yeah.
quiet.
Yeah, no, I would just say, I'm wearing Cobra Kai clothing. I got the hat, I got the shirt, but underneath it all, I may skew a little bit Miyagi-Do, probably, in my heart. Although I think there's a lot of value in some of the Cobra Kai philosophy. Sometimes in life, you need to strike first and make those moves. But it's I believe in defense only. So. There's I represent Cobra Kai, but down deep, probably a little bit of both.
You could see that his background right there. There's kind of like a devil and an angel on his shoulders. You could figure out.
That's exactly it. That's what these guys
screaming into his ear
at all times. They're both there with me.
Cooper, thank you so much for your question, buddy. Appreciate you. I believe we have one more question there in Indiana.
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is Naomi. I am originally from the Netherlands, and my question is specifically geared towards the writers and the producers. I was wondering, did you feel a lot of pressure to pick up such an iconic movie and create a successful spinoff?
I wouldn't say we really felt pressure. We were just excited. This was something, it wasn't our first time making we had made some movies prior to it, and we knew the Karate Kid in and out. So it's like if you have a lot of experience doing something and you're excited about it, you go in, with positive vibes and positive energy. If it was something that we didn't know anything about and we, lied and got the job, then we would be nervous. But all we cared about was making sure we had Ralph Macchio and Billy Zabka, the original guys, and that we had that snake logo and all that stuff. And we felt if we had all of that, we'd be able to make something awesome.
John or Josh, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I would just say, we're giant fans of the Karate Kid franchise, obviously. It was something that, was so special to us. And, all we thought was if we could just make a show that we knew that we would love and that our friends who love Karate Kid would love, then our hope was that, fans of the franchise all over the world would enjoy it. And hopefully we could bring a little something new, embracing the themes that we grew up on and that we loved so much, and find that modern spin and find that new generation and capture that magic again. And, the entire crew that we work with, the entire cast led by Ralph and Billy, everyone is in it 100%. Everyone is there coming with their A game and want to make something special. And I think that when you bring a bunch of people together who are determined to do something great, sometimes great things can happen.
Thank you, Naomi. Really appreciate your question. We appreciate everybody there in Indiana. Thank you very, very much for joining us today. Guys, I got a couple comments and a couple questions for you from the Q&A box, starting with Anna Galbraith from Fort Shafter, Hawaii, says, not a question, but Johnny Lawrence is definitely my spirit animal. That's what Anna would like to say there. Chandler Rand, U.S. Army Garrison in Italy, for Josh, John, or Hayden, could you please describe what the atmosphere or dynamics are usually like in the writer's room for an episode?
That's a great question. We actually keep a very organized and professional writer's room. We start on time every day at 9 a.m. Everybody has to know already what they want for lunch, so there's no argument over restaurant or order. And we try to get everybody out by 4:30 or 5 o'clock because a lot of people have families and we want to get people home. And if people have to write, we'd rather they not be writing these episodes in the middle of the night. And between those hours, that we're there, those 7 or 8 hours, it is a lively conversation that sometimes veers off on paths of what to call a potential third dojo on this show. And sometimes it gets very, very technical in terms of
how, you know, the beats of a given episode are going to lay out, with, you know, note cards being, you know, pinned into the wall, and arguments amongst the three of us getting very defensive as to you know, our ideal version of certain moments. But it's really a terrific group that has a lot of veteran writers that have been with us since the first season, and it's like a family getting together every day to talk about their favorite thing.
John or Hayden, anything to add to that?
No, it's just, you know, a lot of hardcore Karate Kid fans too. When we pick the writers, you know, for the writers' room, you know, obviously we look at writing samples and we want people who are talented. But one of the things that we look for is, you know, do you know who Dutch is? You know, do you know who Terry Silver is? You know, and we don't ask them those questions. We see if they just come up with it and talk about it. And so we picked together an awesome, you know, group of just hardcore Karate Kid fans. So that's why you feel a lot of that kind of those vibes and those feels when you watch the show.
Josh, I've got a question for you. I mentioned last time that Hot Tub Time Machine is one of my very favorite movies of all time. And of course, William Zabka with an amazing turn in that movie, one of the funniest scenes in the movie. Did his involvement in Hot Tub Time Machine spark anything like, hey, maybe we should do a spinoff of Karate Kid? Was his involvement in Hot Tub Time Machine in any way a vehicle for that?
Well, I mean, I've been a huge fan of, obviously, the Karate Kid and Billy's forever. So as soon as he came to work, you know, on that first day, it took me all of about 5 minutes to, you know, let him know, you know, what Karate Kid meant to me. And we started talking and kind of brainstorming for a while over the course of, you know, a year or two about ways of kind of designing a character piece or a show around a Johnny Lawrence-esque type of character. But neither one of us, you know, felt like it was realistic to, you know, to actually get the rights to do the Karate Kid. And it felt like a mountain at the time. It was right after the Jaden Smith movie had come out. It felt like that ship had sailed. So years passed before John and Hayden and I really, you know, dug our teeth in and tried to, you know, go figure out, is it accomplishable to be able to work within that universe? And it was really special to then go back to Billy and be like, remember that really tough nut to crack? What if it was like a delicious, you know, wedding cake? It was amazing.
All came back around. I love it. All right, guys, time for our next live look in. We're not going to be going to our USO office in Kansas. So if you could please start your camera and join us. And I believe we have 3 questions there for the guys.
Thank you for having us. This is Mark, and I have Shannon with me, and we are here at Fort Riley. And we want to say thank you for doing this. And also, I had that same high school crush on Allie that I think both characters did. Shannon?
Yes.
Hey,
Well,
sorry about that. I had
my.
my
What are your questions?
sorry, I had my USO holidays background up from the holidays. We are both super excited to have you guys here. I'm a huge fan. It was so cool to watch Karate Kid when I was growing up, and now my daughter back here watches Cobra Kai with me. And we're so excited you guys are doing this, and we're going to introduce you to Lieutenant Colonel Aaron Teller.
Excellent. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon. I'm like the team said, I'm Aaron Teller. I'm the commander of the 79th Explosive Ordnance Disposal Battalion here on Fort Riley. We're also home to the 1st Infantry Division, the Big Red One. So it's an exciting place, a lot going on. The first question I have for the cast is, what strengths do you admire and in the characters that you play?
You want to start, Billy, or you want me to go?
I'll go. The key to Johnny Lawrence in the Karate Kid and even now is the first line that he says in the movie when he pulls on the motorcycle on top of the hill, and Tommy hands him a beer and says, you know, you want a beer? He says, no, I have 1 year to make it work, and that's what I'm going to do, make it work, all of it. And despite everything, he's still trying to make it work, no matter what's against him. And a lot of times he's against himself, but deep down inside, he's always going to get back up. He's always going to keep pressing forward in the face of anything. Doesn't matter what it is. He'll fight himself, he'll fight anybody, but he's moving forward constantly. He's never going to surrender. He's going to never give up. And he's got an engine and metal, and he's working himself out. He's got a long way to go, but he's on his path. I think that's my favorite attribute of the character.
Yeah, for LaRusso, an attribute and a character trait that I think has been consistent throughout Karate Kid and through Cobra Kai is his allegiance and respect for his mentor, for the lessons he's learned that he wants to pay forward through to his family, to his students. I think that's it's like is anyone who has a great teacher in their life that makes that difference for that child, for that kid going through that adolescent period where you're kind of rudderless and need that guidance. And I think, both Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso have good intentions. That's what's just so beautiful about the Cobra Kai series, and what John, Josh, and Hayden and the team do is they go into, and their perspectives may be different, their methods may be different, but the end game, albeit different paths, are to be positive in some way. And for LaRusso, I would give his respect and allegiance to his mentor and teacher as something he carries forward as probably the thing I hold the most dear to the character.
We appreciate that question, sir, at the USO Center in Kansas. Do we have another person with a question there for the guys?
Yes, I've got Private Richard Parker.
Welcome, sir.
Hello, good afternoon. Yes, I am just little old Private Parker. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, and my question for you, all of you, if you may want to answer, is do you believe that Pat Morita's legacy lives on through Cobra Kai?
I do. I mean, I think I'll let Billy answer for that for himself, but I think that, because we always talk about this, it's super important. It was super important for me from the get-go when I first heard of this project and the Cobra Kai series, because I think, it's important to have that balance, or at least strive for it. And I think that lesson in our lives is a good one, and it's nice to have that woven into the show, albeit easier to say than do sometimes for Daniel LaRusso. He claims to understand balance, but is off balance a lot. But that creates, fun story and conflicts, and so I think it's paramount to the foundation of the show to have that infused throughout.
Yeah, I think there's two things you asked. I think you asked is Pat Morita or Miyagi. They're the character and the actor. The character, obviously, Miyagi he's the Yoda of the universe in a way. He's the wise well of knowledge and wisdom and all things good, especially coming through Daniel. So he exists in the universe. Without him, it really wouldn't work at all. And as far as the actor, Pat Morita, who personified him, he became Miyagi for all of us. So we miss him so much. And but it's interesting just how there's so much homage to him, and there's so much I think he's mentioned probably more than any other character in the whole show. We say Miyagi, that's what Daniel does. So he's definitely a part of the show. We miss him. I wish he was here to step on set, walk through a door, and make us all laugh and cry, because he was a gem. But without him, the show doesn't work, doesn't exist. And with the Karate Kid, it was all Ralph and Pat's chemistry that made that work, that father-son mentor relationship thing. And that's a secret ingredient also of the show. It was the relationships. Johnny's broke. He doesn't have a dad. He's come from a broken home. He's trying to be a mentor to kids and try to give what knowledge he can to these kids from a small toolbox of that he knows, and Daniel's doing the same and reaching for that well, which came from Miyagi. Without the mentor of Miyagi and Life in a Way, Miyagi's pretty much a plumb line. He's kind of the truth meter that we're trying to achieve in a way, and they let him break through into all of us. And he's part of the show. In private, there are no such thing as just privates. Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you.
Stay safe, buddy. And you're welcome to Cobra Kai anytime, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, William, very well said, though. Those were some great words about Pat in particular. Private Parker, thank you so much for your question. I believe I have one more there at the USO Center in Kansas. If you'd like to
yes, Sergeant First Class McPherson.
Thank you. Welcome. How you doing?
Hi, my name is Sergeant First Class Brandon McPherson. I'm stationed at 172nd Chemical Company here at Fort Riley. I'm originally from Eureka, California. And my question for you all is, what made you all want to come back together and do Cobra Kai?
Well, for us, you know, we weren't there from the beginning, but we you know, as monster fans, we're desperate to continue the story that we fell in love with and to work with these amazing actors. And it was our job to try to convince these guys to come back, and we're just thrilled that they did. So maybe they could
it was our
share
power
with
of
why they
persuasion
did.
at the end of the day. We're extremely persuasive fans, and we sat with them and plied them with much food and conversation, and wouldn't take no for an answer, and just hammered home over and over again how awesome this was going to be, and it was undeniable. I think that's probably what they'll tell you as well.
That's right. Exactly what we'll say. Hey, I would to that point, the John, Josh, and Hayden or their preparation for when we all pitched this show together to various networks and wound up on YouTube and now on Netflix was impeccably thought out and thorough with a great amount of passion and focus, and that's how their meetings with us were. Though different, Billy and I wish we have video recordings of what he was pitched versus what I was pitched. We have so much fun talking about because we know, and but it all worked, and we were, it was something like I was so resistant to wanting to go back to these characters for so many years. Because I just felt, you don't want to mess with what's working. And there was less of a platform for it, like there is with Netflix and things like that, where you could basically tell a long movie and cut it up into parts. It was always about, okay, are you going to do another 2-hour Karate Kid 5, or whatever. And it was less appealing. And the concept of coming into this universe through the eyes of Billy's character of Johnny Lawrence and whatever happened to that guy, and then where Daniel LaRusso fits into that world was fresh, unique, and like I said, well presented, well thought out. But still, it's like jumping in the pool and not knowing the temperature of the water. I knew it was the time to swim, but man, was it going to be hot or cold? And it fortunately worked out exactly as I expected.
Hey, thank you very much for your questions there. We really appreciate you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you for your service. Guys, we're going to go right to our next live look-in location, and this is USO Alaska, where we're going to be getting some words from the director there. So if you will please start your camera and join us. Welcome, sir.
Hello. A big virtual welcome to the last frontier. I'm Brett Banks, Executive Director for USO Alaska, and we are so excited to spend some time with you tonight. USO Alaska staff and volunteers are responsible for mission delivery to service members and their families across over 663,000 square miles of Alaska terrain and tundra. We have 4 USO centers here in Alaska, hundreds of volunteers, and an expeditionary team that travels from coast to coast, from Dutch Harbor to Barrow, from Kotzebue all the way to Shemya Island at the tip of the Aleutian chain. We also have some huge Cobra Kai fans. So I'm going to turn it over now to our Arctic warriors for some questions. Eagle Fang.
And Billy, I believe you have something to say to the people joining us there.
Yeah, I just want to say, go ahead. Sorry, guys. I hope you didn't blow your screen.
Everyone readjust their speakers on their computers right now. Guys, welcome. I understand you have some questions for the guys.
Boys.
Of course. Oh, all right. Hey, I'm Private Doss from Outer Banks, North Carolina, and I just want to ask y'all, what were each of y'all doing whenever you got the call to go back to the show?
Good, Billy.
Email. I don't know what I was doing. I was raising 2 kids and doing stuff. I just got an email from Josh Heald and saying, hey, you want to have lunch with me and Hayden and John Horowitz? There's a little project we want to talk to you about. And being that I work with Josh on Hot Tub Time Machine and I knew the guys from Harold and Kumar, I thought it was something in that light, maybe some new fun 80s spoof or some continuation of something or maybe something fresh. I had no idea. But then I went to meet them at a local Mexican restaurant. And before I can get 10 chips in my mouth, they, like a 3-headed dragon, spit out Cobra Kai. And by the time they literally would not let the waiter take our order. They kept coming up, shooing them away. And it was like 1, 2, 3. They finished each other's sentences. It was just this, and they're talking about doing a continuation of the Karate Kid, which seemed absolutely impossible because, it's a franchise and you need to have rights signed off on that. But then they say, and by the way, Sony's already signed off on this and Weintraub signed off on this as a state and everybody's on board. Now it's in your lap. You want to do it? And I said, yeah, I'm in, tentatively, let's see where this goes. And what's the next step? And the next step was to get Ralph Macchio. And then the phone call went to Ralph. So Ralph, what were you doing at that moment?
Oh, well, yeah. For me, I just came off, I did a thing on the roast of Rob Lowe for Comedy Central. And it was on television, and you go on Twitter when you're on these things to see if people think you suck or you're good or not. And I saw this, someone followed me by the name of John Hurwitz. And I was like, oh, the Harold and Kumar guy. Oh, that's cool. So then I'm saying, oh, he's probably watching the roast of Rob Lowe. And this was going on in my head. So then the following Monday or the following day or two, I get a call from one of my reps that Hurwitz and Schlossberg and Heald want to meet. So I feel it was all based on my brilliant performance at the Rob Lowe roast. And they wanted to talk about something, and it had nothing to do with that. But we pulled it together. They came to New York, where I was, and I got the 3-headed dragon with some different dialogue, I'm sure, that convinced me to make another call and call back, and then it was about calling Billy, and he picked up on the first half of a ring. And just, I was expecting this call. What do you think? I don't know. What do you think? Well, as long as they do this, and then we start diving in, and we're so protective of everything. And it was really, it felt good even from the onset, but it's still a big jump to take for us, And fortunately for all involved, it was the right move across the board. So there's the long answer to the simple question.
Thanks a lot for that question, man. And I know we have got 2 more questions there at Joint Base Elmendorf Richardson, and just a little bit of advice for the next guy asking the question. Just back up a little bit, and we can see your face. Although you do have a beautiful neck, I have to say.
Here's the Cobra Kai logo, so that's pretty dope.
There we go. Welcome, sir.
Welcome.
Hello. My name is Special Bashor. I'm originally from Colorado. How's it going?
Great.
Hey.
So my question for you guys is, knowing that the fans debate about who is the true bad guy from the original Karate Kid movies, what is your unbiased opinion of who is actually the bad guy from the original movies?
It's John Kreese. How's that? How's that for diplomatic?
I think it's Freddie. I think it's the guy that told on Daniel at the beach party, the one that told him to come to the beach party.
Yeah, and then left the kid.
Yeah, ditched you right after.
He started the fight, he left, and then he showed up at the end and then congratulated Daniel. What a coward. He's the real bad guy. We got to do something about that.
That's right. That's right.
And he came to the karate fight at the end. He actually came to the big show.
Yeah, he had the nerve to be there.
Dutch wasn't the nicest guy,
Yeah, he's pretty bad too.
He's not a nice guy. Dutch was not a nice guy. But how's that for Scurry?
Bad teacher.
No such thing as bad student.
Well, I think also you may be referring to both the movies, 1 and 2, not just the guys from 1. So you might want to wait for some guys from 2
Freddie
also.
Fernandez, he started the whole thing.
Don't tell his lawyer. Yeah, I think the unbiased opinion, Daniel LaRusso's character was the protagonist guy you rooted for back in 1984 and up until we got to the opening sequence of the Cobra Kai series. He was, that was the way that the film was set up, but it also, what adds layers to that movie and to Billy's character is, he was a guy trying to do right. He was trying to have 1 year to make it work and fix his mistakes at that point. And that, I think that informed even Josh and Hayden going forward that perspective of Johnny Lawrence, which you didn't necessarily feel when you watched the Karate Kid movie, was something to explore. What happens to that guy that gets the raw deal, or is taught the wrong way, or in a negative fashion, and that's what.
Yeah, Miyagi says there's no such thing as a bad student, only a bad teacher. So you'd think Miyagi would say, Johnny isn't the bad guy in it. It's like you said, it's really Kreese. But Kreese was a student at some point too. So
yeah, Kreese had a bad teacher also.
I know. I remember when the movie came out, when I got kicked in the face, everybody jumped to their feet. So that should tell you he's a not good guy. I mean, really, I was, like everybody jumped up. I'm the only one sitting there waiting. What the heck? But I think, clearly in the movie, the way it was written and the way it was shown, of course, I mean, I'm the villain, man. I'm the antagonist. I'm the pressure against the protagonist. That's how movies work, stories work, and you have to overcome that. I think the nice, button and bonus for me was that there was a moment at the end of the movie where I hand him a trophy and say, good match. If at the end he kicked him in the face and then Johnny came at him with a baseball bat, he would have just been sealed as the biggest prick of all time, right? So the fact that he comes out and gives him a trophy, sees his errors of his ways, when Kreese is telling him to go sweep the leg and he doesn't want to do it, you got to see a little of his humanity, and that's what I built the character on. So from my point of view, and any point of view, I mean, a good bad guy, when you play a good bad guy, never sees him as a bad guy. You see yourself as the hero. You have to frame the world that way, even though the story may be built against you. That's how you give a three-dimensional performance of a character. So that was how I always felt. I always felt, my view. It took me 10 years maybe to watch The Karate Kid and understand that I may have had it coming. You know what I mean? For real. Like every time I watch it, the same emotion. So this is hard for me to get to do this now. I love it, and you get to, it's really awesome to dig into the humanity. And I love what that's what the show's doing. Is it's like it's not just 1, 2, 3 acts with the moment of death and a resurrection. You've got like a ongoing layered story that has depth and width, and you get to dive deep into these characters, and that's what these guys are bringing. The magical writers and creators are not just playing on the note of what the Karate Kid was and those easy, what we call the low-hanging fruit, nostalgia, but we're diving into what it's like to be human, what it's like to be a fighter, what it's like to be a mentor, what it's like to be a leader, what it's like to fail, what it's like to hurt, what it's like to try, all that through all the characters. And I think that's why this show is connecting with people on a global level in many languages, because it's not just about the basic formula that was the Karate Kid. So there's a long answer to that question. So
yeah,
but talk to me in private, and I'll tell you Daniel LaRusso was the bad guy.
I think we got one more question there in Alaska. Go ahead, whoever's ready.
Hey, everybody. All right. So, question. What are your personal expectations for like how long you would like the series to go for? Like just a couple seasons, like make it 10, whatever, like what do y'all new movie? What do y'all want to see?
I'll just say, every year we sit down to, write a new story for a new season, and we inevitably have too much story, and we try to pack as much as we possibly can into each episode, into each season. And, at this point, our episodes are bursting at the seams. There's so many characters, there's so many balls in the air, there's so many plates spinning, and so many, storylines that the audience is connected to and that we're in the middle of. But we inevitably keep pushing things further out. We're gonna get to that. That's too soon, not yet. And every single season we encounter that. We swear up and down like we're gonna do that thing. And we say, you know what, not this season, let's skip a season and do that, further out. So it's hard to say, but, all I can say is we have, a lot more in our heads, and we hope we get to tell it for a long time.
I know your fans are hoping that you're going to get to tell it for a long time too. Guys in Alaska there, thank you very much. Enjoy yourselves. We appreciate it.
Second squad, best squad.
Woo! A lot of passion in that room.
Thanks, guys.
Right, guys, I got a question here for you from the Q&A box. This one comes from Dana Kelly, who is at Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Maryland. And she says, our 10-year-old would like to know who punches the hardest between Johnny and on the show.
That's not a really fair question. We've never really tested that out, but I could tell you this. we do a lot in all of our fighting and sparring. We do. There's not a. Here, I think I have one right now. Look at that bruise. That's Ralph Macchio.
That's not. I did not sell that one.
This similar type of bruise. We're bruised up all over this.
We do.
Like
Like,
Ralph
like
and I do our fight scenes. We have equal amounts of bruising and scarring, and I think it hurts on both ends. He has really strong bones. You'd be surprised. His blocks like wood. I don't know.
we're like two peaches. We get done, and we're just matching all the little welts and the brownish, orange, green bruise marks we have. I guess one of these days we'll go to one of those amusement park things where you hit the thing and it tells you how much PSI or whatever it is. If I were a betting man, I might go with Zabka though.
And much like peaches, as we get older, we get a little bit softer, tend to bruise a little bit easier. So I'm sure you guys have compared lots of bruises over the years. Guys, this has been such a fun session. People have joined us from 38 states across the country: the United Kingdom, Okinawa, Germany, Bahrain, Italy, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, and Guam. So this is truly an international event. And in addition to thanking all of you guys for joining us, William and Ralph, I want to give each of you a moment to give some words of support and encouragement to not only the troops zooming in with us, but for all of the troops across the world. And William, I'll start with you.
Sure. I don't know. At the beginning, I mentioned my father and 7 of his brothers, 7 of my uncles all served in World War II. And I know the USO was born just around that time, I believe 1941, and how much the USO has provided a sense of family and community, and to reach across the miles, across from the motherland to where all you guys are. Did it for my dad and his uncles, and then my cousins that were in Vietnam and Korea, many wars. And I just know how much it means. And so to be here, to be me, an actor, a kid that had a dream when I was little, to one day do a movie or something, and for my life to have worked out the way it has, and for me to be in a position where I can reach out to you and say thank you. I thank you with all my heart. Wish you all the best. I thank you for your service. Pray for you. Stay straight, stay strong, stay safe, get home soon. And we're real excited to see what happens with your lives after the military and what you're going to contribute to society and civilian life. So you guys march on, rock on. We got your back. I know you have ours, and we're forever grateful to you. This is the very least we can do. I hope one day we can get on a plane and come visit you in person. This is a new time right now with this Zoom stuff. So much love to you. No mercy. Sweep the leg.
Thanks, William. Ralph?
Yeah, I think everything Billy just mentioned there, but having the opportunity to come visit, I look forward to that in the future when things settle down. I've had such a great time being able to connect. I did this last week and talked to some troops in Okinawa and families there, and to go in a global fashion like this. I feel the love through the screen, but what I get to give back is just the opportunity to say thank you, to say how important the work that you're doing means to us, the sacrifices that your families make, that you make, that we, like Billy mentioned earlier about what his life has become, and I look at it the same way. I'm truly blessed to have the opportunities I have and to reach people and to connect with people. But without the work that you do, I feel I don't have that opportunity. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you for your service. I thank your families, and I'm sending you my love and great wishes for a safe return home, and look forward to seeing you in person someday soon.
Cobra Kai is the series. Our producers extraordinaire, Josh Heald, John Hurwitz, Hayden Schlossberg, stars of the show, Ralph Macchio and William Zabka. Guys, thank you so much. This has been an absolute blast. I want to thank everybody out there for participating. And for more information, please go to uso.org/MVP. Thanks again, you guys. Really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. And for all of you, we will see you on down the road.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
everyone.
Thank you.